I've talked to a handful of life coaches on this podcast, all very interesting, all very different. Now, you do not technically use the term life coach. You use executive performance coach. What makes you different from all the other life coaches out there? In what way sets you apart? Because I think you're correct. I don't think you're a life coach.
Right. And I don't in any way mean to disparage the term life coach.
Of course.
In fact, when I first heard it 25 years ago, whenever that first came around, I thought, what a cool idea, a coach for life. That made so much sense to me. I just don't personally like being lumped in a category with, tens of thousands of other individuals where you really don't have any idea how one is different from another. So to your point, I don't know this, what makes me different from every other life coach. I think everyone's got their own style.
Right.
I have a particular orientation that I do find unique that I haven't seen much of out there, which is giving people direct experience of what I call their true self, the person, the part of you that is beyond the identity, beyond your ego. And we can get into what all this stuff means, whose very nature is already peace and clarity and freedom and happiness. In other words, for the people, again, the overachievers, the high performers who are seeking happiness in the world, I help them to see that there's really no true happiness to be found in the world. There's temporary happiness to be found in the world, but true happiness, peace, freedom, clarity, etc., is something that we find it's already built in. It's part of our factory settings, but we have been conditioned not to see that and to look outward for it. So that's sort of there are two main orientations I have. That's the first one, that people have to learn to what I call who they really are in order to be able to really be happy in life.
And that's hard, right? That's very, very difficult. I remember it took me a little while to actually discover who I truly was. I probably didn't actually figure it out fully until, 20. I was probably 20, 21 years old. And when I actually
which I would say is very young.
Yeah, of course. It is very young. Like this thing. I always knew who I was, but it took me a while to accept who I was for who I am. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Sure.
It's like, I fought so hard to be someone I knew I couldn't be. So now it's just like, well, fuck it. I am who I am. You can love it or leave it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we can get into this. First of all, I think what you're saying is definitely in alignment with what I'm saying. Yeah. And we may, as we go on, get into more nuances about the way I'm describing it and the way you're describing it, because of course, these aren't like set definitions. We can all come at it a little differently.